We're gonna start this one with the All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to the meeting for Monday, March 11th. The County Services Committee. I'm sure we have a riveting report from Tyra after the ISAC conference. Maybe not so much over there.
Yeah, actually, Carrie, you should talk about the proposal for the possible requirement for hotels and the turning them into shelters.
Want me to come here so I can that?
Sure.
Here we go.
What's up, man?
I do want to just go ahead and open the meeting. Sorry.
Okay, we'll open county services at 6:02, and we have Commissioner Tyra Hospital is going to speak and enlighten us on hotels.
Oh, I wish I could. Okay, so what Sean is talking about is in the prior year, there was a new part in NYCRR, which is part of the Social Service Law, 902, that they were going to make all the hotels that were up and standing used as temporary housing to follow all of the rules of the shelter. And what that meant for us here in Greene is that implanted in those rules were things for security, was daycare, was meals, medical services, things that we've never really thought about to actually take to the particular facility. So in the prior year, the upstate counties were able to have lots of dialogue with the OTDA commissioner, and basically we kind of push that out. But surprise, surprise, this particular January in the registry, it was republished those rules. So that means this calendar year they can come out with those rules and regulations again. So if that happens, we are going to be an absolute mess.
To say these are proposals at this point.
Correct. So every hotel room would look like what currently the new shelters that are up and standing in the state would look like.
All same services.
Correct.
That's a game changer, absolutely.
Is there a date that they're looking at?
You're gonna
No.
double the price.
No,
Oh, easy.
once they put that in the registry, it means that they're thinking about it, and we've already seen those in writing. We push back in those with those regulations.
Great.
It'll just be a really big issue for us to resolve. So thank you, Sean. I appreciate that.
Everybody should know about it.
Yeah.
Just
Happy news.
that we're there.
There's actually a couple things in the state budget that we're pushing back on. On the Medicaid side, there's in the consumer directive, there was one direction that the state was going with, and the budget amendments completely changed that. So for some reason, they're looking to close 100,000 cases of pediatric cases where parents were the designated rep, which makes no sense at all. So there's massive pushback and all, and you'll see lots of dialogue, people handcuffing themselves to the $1 million staircase and all kinds of different drama going on. So we're gonna see what's going on with that too. So,
Hey, you know, the funny comment, it's not funny. The thing with this is that all these things are smart things to do. They also will add to the budget if they don't do them this way, because that's how the budget is figured with these other processes in place. I think will add to the budget further.
so potential lots of change, but I'll let you know once that does happen, because we have to put together all the different amendments and stuff, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Always good.
Thanks for the great news.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
All right, this evening we have two proposed action items. Number one is authorizing agreement, Greene County Department of Human Services Aging and Hearthstone Care LLC.
True.
True and who? Leg. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Nobody's,
That
no.
was Patty. We do have Patty on the phone and we have Caleb is on Zoom.
Okay, which one is opposed?
Doesn't matter.
They can't.
They can't vote anyway.
Okay, that's carried. Number two,
and I already asked her if she's sure about this. Reappointing Commissioner of Social Services, and I would like to move that.
And I'll second.
Len,
Okay, Overbaugh, Lennon, True, Rivera, Linger. Any opposed? That is carried. All in favor?
Aye.
That is carried. Anyone else have anything for county services this evening?
motion to close.
Motion to close. No one like to say anything?
No.
I second that. We are closed.
Good.
Good.
We're gonna run.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Time change. Good thing you're close to God. I'm good, mate.
Okay, I'd like to call Public Works Committee to order at 6:07. And then we'll start with the Highway Superintendent's report.
Good evening. Going through the federal and state aid projects, County Route 40, 61, both of those are on schedule and moving forward with design and right of way. Spruce Turn Road Bridge over the West Kill in the town of Lexington. We actually just received the master agreement with New York State DOT this week, so today. We should be moving forward with that as well. Bridge and Culvert, New York projects, County Route 20 and Platte Clove Road, both of those are in the design phase right now. We awarded those last month. County Route 3 Culvert project, I believe that's on the agenda this month.
On the one in Black Hole,
Platte Clove.
is that gonna be presented to like anybody?
Yes, as soon as we got the engineer involved, once he starts coming up with a more detailed design, we're gonna present that to Black Clove community. We're gonna, obviously, the goal is to keep the aesthetics as close to as historically as possible, with still meeting the design standards with bridge design and safety. So it's gonna be a challenge. The parapet walls, we're gonna have to actually build them to look historic, but they're still gonna have to meet that safety requirement.
So my other question would be, what about the lady that lives on the other side? What are we gonna?
That is actually presenting us with a very difficult, because of the construction schedule. We're gonna have to, because it's a seasonal road on the other side, we're going to have to do that in one season. Or if we have to do it in 2 seasons, we're gonna have to do a winter shutdown.
Is there gonna be a way that she will be able to park her car on the Black Clove side of the bridge with a pedestrian walk to get to?
Yes, during construction, she will have access to the other side, because I believe she gets her mail in Hunter.
Well, everything, everything she does is
Right.
to the west.
So we will coordinate with the emergency services on the other side, because that's where they're gonna have to come up the mountain to service that
Right,
if required, but she will still have access across the bridge.
okay, thank you.
You're full-time?
Yeah, she lives there full-time.
Full-time resident, which presents as a problem for, it's not the access, it's the emergency service access, so if anything occurs, they can get the fire trucks up there.
Or ambulance.
Or ambulance. At least the ambulance could be transported across the bridge.
Right.
If necessary. County Route 123C and 67, those projects are actually on schedule to be done this spring. Unfortunately, with some of the precast contractors, it's pushing a little further off than what we would like. County Route 67, we had the contractors out there for a pre-bid, and it seems we got a lot of interest, so hopefully we get a great price. That bridge can be constructed this season. 61 Slide was awarded last month to CDM Smith. They're gonna start their investigation so they can come up with some sort of design proposal. Engineering investigation of drainage complaints. We've had a lot of rain recently, so we're continuously going through and taking a look at that. We didn't have a lot of frost, so the ground is incredibly wet. It's super saturated, so every drop of rain that we've received is runoff, which causes a lot of volume and that causes lots of damage. So we're tracking those. We're upsizing culverts to try to keep up with the weather patterns.
Wind helped a lot.
Yeah, today was, we had wind gusts on the mountaintop of over 50 miles per hour, here in the valley of over 40. We had multiple tree down on 23B. There was a massive tree on Carroll Junction in 23B that came down.
There was.
It's, yes, with the saturated ground and no frost, what occurred was this winds are topping over these trees pretty easily. Unfortunately, developing the 2024 paving program, the executive budget for New York State came out and the governor cut over $100 million out of CHIPS. That's $40 million out of touring, which doesn't affect us, but $60 million out of direct CHIPS funding. That's well over $225,000 for Greene County. I mean, you can see on this list, my priority right now is the structurally deficient bridges and culverts. What's going to be directly affected is our paving program this year. So if the governor doesn't put this back into the budget, we will do less paving this year.
But historically, they've always revisited that,
They have,
and they make the,
and
they
we're hoping that it's simply
reinstate the funds.
it's a, I guess, a negotiating technique.
Yeah, negotiate, they'll reinstate the
We're
funds.
hoping that paver, potholes, EWR, and CHIPS is all reestablished at the last year's budget.
But every year it's the same thing.
Correct. Well, not out of direct CHIPS.
Yeah, not direct chip, but they always find more at the end.
Correct. Hopefully that continues.
I hope so. I mean,
Solid waste,
that's a
you'll
good-
see on the,
for Greene County.
we put out the bid, the Catskills Transfer Station residential drop-off area, and the bids came out much lower than what we even expected. I think it was great. Keller came back, Keller Construction, with a great price, as well as CDE Electric for electrical, much lower than all the rest. I think this will be a great project for the solid waste department. You'll also see on the agenda some purchasing of equipment. Four of those trucks were the trucks that we removed based on specifications. We revisited the manufacturer and we pre-spec'd out the proper truck that we wanted. And we can actually get that truck much quicker. They really worked with us to try to get this done. If we would have put this out bid today, 27, all the other manufacturers are looking at 24 to 27 months out. So, and Henderson Equipment and Freightliner are saying that we're going to be able to get these within the next 6 months. So these are already on the manufacturing floor for build.
Were they our slots?
What's that?
For the other?
They kept our slots from the last round. That's why we could get these so quickly. HHW Day, we have 2 of them this year, June 29th for Wyndham and September 7th for Athens.
Thank you.
So that's gonna be, they're always successful, and I know that that's something that the mountaintop, you guys, we're looking forward to do it again.
And the Wyndham's gonna be at the transfer station.
It's gonna be at the highway building, which is right next door. We did that the last time. It worked out really well. September 7th. Athens.
Do you push that through social media as well?
We will, yes. Get that out. There's also authorization for the fuel management system that we have. That's the upgrade. We've bounced this around for many months, trying to figure out the right one to go with. We finally figured out. We actually got a locked in 5 years. They're gonna set the price set for 3 of those years, and it's a slow escalation the last 2. But they're the only ones that actually would give us that. The rest couldn't promise anything. So we were a little nervous about that. And they're also, the installation is much cheaper than everyone else.
Scott, something like that, is there history to this system that you guys are gonna purchase? Another county already doing it, or state?
Yeah, they're on multiple state contracts. The city of Boston uses them. I believe the New York State Bridge Authority uses them. So they're around.
Okay.
And this is gonna actually be good. This is the first time that we're gonna be able to have our fuel system link up with our fleet management system. So they're gonna actually talk to each other. So it'll advise our garage manager when vehicles and equipment need to be serviced. So when you're fueling them, you put in your mileage and it'll flag the garage manager and update the fleet management system. So we don't have to keep on asking how many miles are in the car, how many miles. So it'll automatically, it'll reach out to the different departments and say, you're scheduled for a service. So we're finally getting these to communicate, where the dial-up program just didn't do it.
And we declined the carrying fee on our sub-users, correct?
Correct. You sure?
Yes.
My vote doesn't count.
That should wrap up most of it.
2 questions. Getting back to the Black Clove Bridge. One thing I thought of just before was, is there any way we can install lighting there, so at night, if she has to traverse the bridge, it's not dark? I don't know if there's a street light there or anything now, but for.
There is, I don't believe there's a lighting district in that area, but we can, we can add that into the contract for the contractor to have lighting at night.
Okay. And the other thing is, when does the price for asphalt come out per ton?
I believe we put it out, and that's a great question. I'll get back to you on that.
Thank you.
I think we put it out. I'll get you the exact price.
What Darryl was talking about, if there's not lighting there now, why would we put lighting there?
It's only during construction.
Only during
You run the
construction,
generator.
because we're making her go out of her way to fix the bridge, so I don't want her to have a problem safety wise. Say she comes back in the dark and she's gotta walk across that bridge to
For construction site.
get there.
How far is her house on the other side of the bridge?
It's not that far.
It's all uphill. It's probably a couple hundred yards.
Come on, yards. Wow.
Downhill down, but uphill back.
Wow.
It is, it's the only resident on the other side. It's really thrown, scheduling wise, it's gonna be difficult.
Yeah.
Go both ways.
When you went to school.
That's all.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Proposed action items. Confirming and ratifying the Greene County Resolution number 482-02, authorizing the purchase of 90 Allen Street, Town of Catskill, State of New York, and lead agency determining that the purchase in and unlisted action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act and will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment.
Martinez.
Martinez and Buelich, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Authorizing advertisement for bid propane service.
Why not?
Martinez and Buelich, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Authorizing advertisement for bid purchase of materials. Linger.
Buelich, Linger, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Authorizing the highway department to enter into an agreement with Creighton Manning LLP for the replacement of the County Route 3 bridge over West Settlement, Ronald Creek, CIN 285-HAL, Town of Halkett, PIN 1762.66.
Right.
Leg.
Yes.
Linger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Authorizing purchase of one new compact track loader, including planer attachment.
Jim, just a quick question, Scott, this 86,000 includes the planer attachment?
Yes,
Yeah. But it's gonna come with a bucket.
yes,
And that's for cutting rebates on the blacktop.
exactly. This would add one track loader for the mountain, one for the valley.
With planers, I mean.
Yep.
Available to each. Okay, thanks, Scott. Thanks, Jim.
I need a motion.
I'll make that motion, Buelich.
Leg, second, Leg. Buelich and Leg, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Authorizing purchase of one new hydraulic angle boom.
Lennon.
Lennon,
Buelich.
Buelich, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Authorizing purchase of two new half-ton four-wheel drive pickups through New York State Office of General Services.
Martinez. Lennon.
Martinez and Lennon, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Authorizing extension of contract for the operation of household hazardous waste collection event.
Leg.
Buelich.
Blake and Buelich, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Establishing capital project number 147, Catskill Transfer Station, residential drop-off. Linger? Linger?
Buelich.
Buelich, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Awarding electrical contract for Catskill Transfer Station Residential Drop-Off Infrastructure Project.
Lennon.
Lennon, Lavera, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Awarding general contract for Transfer Station Residential Drop-Off Infrastructure Project.
Zero.
Buelich.
Lavera and Buelich, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Budget amendment and authorizing purchase of fuel management system. Lennon and Martinez, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried.
Keller.
Budget amendment and authorization purchase of one new single axle, two-wheel drive cab and chassis, including snow and ice control equipment. Linger. Leg and Linger, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Budget amendment authorizing purchase of three single axle, four-wheel drive cab and chassis, including snow and ice control equipment.
Lennon.
Lennon and Linger, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
How long is it gonna take to get these vehicles, right? Number 14.
We are expecting to get at least those three single axle four-wheel drives by the end of this year. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that one's carried. Budget amendment, insurance recovery, Greene County Highway.
Martinez.
Me.
Martinez,
Lavera.
Lavera, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Budget amendment, insurance recovery, solid waste.
Buelich.
Lavera.
Buelich and Lavera, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Is there anything else to bring before Public Works?
Motion to close.
And Lennon and Lavera.